Level up your English from basic to intermediate and advanced. Root cause. The main reason why something happens. Example, if a car won't start, the root cause might be that the battery is dead. The underlying factor that creates a problem. Example, a computer keeps crashing. The root cause might be outdated software. Not just the fact that it froze today. The fundamental origin of a problem, often hidden beneath symptoms. Addressing symptoms provides temporary relief, but solving the root cause prevents recurrence. Example, declining profits seems linked to rising costs, but the root cause is outdated strategy that fails to adapt to market changes. Consensus. Most people agree on something. Example, the family reached consensus to eat pizza for dinner. A general agreement among a group, even if not everyone fully agrees. It's about finding common ground. Example, the neighbors came to consensus about planting more trees in the community park. The collective judgment or unified position achieved through negotiation, compromise, and shared understanding. Example, in international diplomacy, consensus among nations may involve balancing conflicting interests to establish a treaty acceptable to all parties. Supplement. Something extra added to make something better or complete. Example, he uses a workbook as a supplement to his class lessons. An addition that supports or improves the main thing. Example, athletes often use protein supplements to help build muscle. An auxiliary resource or substance that enhances, extends, or compensates for deficiencies in a primary system. Example, in publishing, a weekend newspaper may include a cultural supplement, an additional section offering in-depth articles beyond the standard news coverage. Erratic. Happening in a strange or unpredictable way. Example, the car moved in an erratic path, swerving left and right. Irregular, inconsistent, or hard to predict, suggesting instability. Example, the student's erratic attendance made it difficult for the teacher to track progress. Deviating from expected norms in an irregular, unstable, or unpredictable manner. Example, the politician's erratic decision-making undermined confidence as policies shifted without clear rationale. Surrogate. Someone or something that takes the place of another. Example, a substitute teacher is a surrogate for the regular teacher. A substitute or stand-in, often chosen to act or serve when the original person or thing cannot. Example, in politics, a surrogate speaker may represent a candidate at events. An appointed or functional proxy that assumes the role, responsibility, or representation of another entity. Example, in law, a surrogate decision-maker may act on behalf of an incapacitated patient, exercising authority grounded in ethical and legal frameworks. One shot. Something that happens only once. Example, he got the job in one shot, without trying again. A single attempt, chance, or action that is not repeated. It often suggests you must succeed the first time. Example, the basketball player had one shot to win the game, and he scored. A unique, non-recurring opportunity, intervention, or production. Example, in literature, a one-shot short story is self-contained, with no sequels or continuation. Intermittent. Something that happens sometimes, not all the time. Example, the lights flickered in an intermittent way, on and off. Start and stop irregularly, with breaks in between. Example, the radio signal was intermittent, cutting out every few minutes. Characterized by periodic or irregular intervals of activity. Often unpredictable in duration or frequency. Example, in medicine, intermittent fasting involves alternating cycles of eating and abstaining, structured by time intervals. Keep chopping wood. Working hard, step by step, even if progress feels slow. Example, she kept chopping wood by studying a little each night until she passed the test. To stay consistent and persistent in your effort, focusing on small daily actions that eventually lead to big results. Example, the runner kept chopping wood by training regularly, even when progress seemed slow. Maintaining steady, incremental effort despite monotony or lack of immediate reward. Example, executives encourage employees to keep chopping wood to focus on consistent execution rather than chasing quick wins. Shady. Dark or covered from the sun. Suspicious. Example, the park bench was in a shady spot, perfect for resting. With shadow. Seeming dishonest, sneaky, or untrustworthy. Example, the salesman's shady behavior made customers doubt his promises. Shielded from direct sun. Unethical, clandestine, or questionable. Example, the corporation's shady financial practices suggested systemic corruption hidden beneath polished public relations. Instill. To slowly put an idea or feeling into someone. Example, parents instill good manners in their children. To gradually teach or introduce values, attitudes, or qualities so they become part of someone's character. Example, leaders instill trust by being honest and consistent. To impart principles, beliefs, or dispositions through persistent reinforcement, embedding them deeply into a person's mindset or organizational culture. Example, in education, instilling critical thinking requires sustained practice, not just isolated lessons. Null and void. Having no effect or not valid anymore. Example, the coupon is null and void after the expiration date. Legally or officially canceled, with no power, force, or effect. Example, the lease was declared null and void because the landlord didn't follow the law. A legal term denoting absolute invalidity, rendering a document, agreement, or decision unenforceable and without binding authority. Example, in contract law, a clause conflicting with statutory requirements is null and void, stripping it of enforceability. Come out of your shell. To stop being shy and start talking or joining in. Example, the child came out of her shell after making new friends. To become more open, confident, and social after being quiet or reserved. Example, the student came out of his shell when he gave a class presentation. Emerging from self-imposed restraint or introversion. Signifying a transition toward greater self-expression, sociability, and confidence. Example, participants are encouraged to come out of their shells by practicing public speaking and collaborative exercises. Scrutinize. To look at something very closely. Example, the teacher scrutinized the homework to check for mistakes. To examine something carefully and in detail to judge or evaluate it. Example, the manager scrutinized the report before approving it. To conduct a thorough, critical, and methodical inspection, often with the intent of uncovering flaws, inconsistencies, or deeper truths. Example, attorneys scrutinize contracts to identify hidden clauses that may disadvantage their clients. Disclaimer. A short statement that says you are not responsible for something. Example, the toy box has a disclaimer, not for children under 3 years. A notice that limits responsibility or explains that certain risks or limits apply. Example, the gym requires members to sign a disclaimer saying they accept the risk of injury. A formal legal or rhetorical statement designed to deny responsibility, limit liability, or clarify boundaries of authority. Example, the disclaimer asserts that opinions expressed are solely those of the author, insulating the publisher from liability. Caught up in something. Busy with or stuck in something. Example, she was caught up in her homework and lost track of time. Being deeply involved, distracted, or absorbed in an activity or situation. often without noticing other things. Example, the manager was caught up in meetings all day and missed lunch. To become entangled or engrossed in circumstances, emotions, or activities to the point of losing perspective or awareness of external priorities. Example, he became caught up in the complexities of data analysis, overlooking the broader theoretical framework. Caught up in your own nerves. Feeling very nervous and stuck in your worries. Example, he was caught up in his own nerves before the speech and spoke too fast. Letting anxiety or nervousness take over, so you can't focus well on what you're doing. Example, the actor was caught up in his own nerves during rehearsal, which made him forget his lines. To become mentally entangled in self-conscious anxiety, allowing internal tension to dominate behavior. Example, the negotiator, caught up in his own nerves, misrepresented key points, undermining his credibility in high-stakes talks. Mortifying. Very embarrassing. Example, it was mortifying when she tripped in front of the class, causing deep shame, humiliation, or extreme embarrassment. Example, she thought it was mortifying to spill coffee on her boss during a meeting, provoking intense humiliation, self-consciousness, or degradation, often striking at one's dignity or pride. Example, for a scholar, being publicly corrected on a fundamental error can be mortifying, undermining professional credibility. Intimidating. Something that makes you feel scared or nervous. Example, speaking in front of the whole class was intimidating for him, causing fear, worry, or pressure because it seems powerful, difficult, or overwhelming. Example, the boss's strict tone was intimidating to new employees. To instill apprehension, unease, or psychological pressure by projecting dominance, authority, or difficulty. Example, the imposing architecture of the courthouse can be intimidating, symbolizing the weight of justice and authority. Creepy. Something that feels scary or strange. Example, it was creepy when the lights turned off suddenly. Something that makes you feel uncomfortable, nervous, or uneasy, often because it seems unnatural or suspicious. Example, the man's creepy smile made everyone step back. Evoking unease, fear, or repulsion by violating social, emotional, or perceptual norms. Example, the abandoned hospital had a creepy atmosphere, where silence and decay amplified psychological tension. Slip away. To leave quietly or disappear without being noticed. Example, she slipped away from the party without saying goodbye. To move out of sight, leave unnoticed, or gradually disappear. It can also describe time passing quickly. Example, the afternoon slipped away while they were talking. Conveys a subtle, often gradual departure or fading, whether physical, temporal, or metaphorical. It can describe stealthy exit, imperceptible loss, or the quiet passage of time and life. Example, in literature, a character may slip away into obscurity, symbolizing the erosion of influence or identity.